Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Knowledge is the foundation that helps humans understand the world. But imagination is what drives humanity beyond what is already known. If knowledge is the collection of things we have learned from the past, then imagination is the ability to open new horizons and create things that have never existed before. It is imagination that has enabled humans to surpass limitations and discover things that no one thought possible. In science, great inventors do not rely solely on existing knowledge, but also use imagination to see things that others have never considered. Before revolutionary discoveries were made, they were once bold ideas born from a rich imagination. Newton did not merely observe an apple falling, he imagined the force of gravity. Einstein did not just study old physics theories, he imagined the curvature of space and time, which forever changed the course of science. Not only in science, but imagination is also present in every aspect of life. An artist does not merely replicate reality, but uses imagination to create masterpieces. A leader does not simply follow old rules, but envisions new directions to change the world. A successful entrepreneur does not just adhere to existing formulas, but finds creative ways to solve problems. All great achievements originate from a powerful imagination. However, imagination is not mere daydreaming. It must be accompanied by action. It is not just about coming up with new ideas, but also daring to execute them and challenge old limitations. An idea without action will forever remain a dream, but imagination combined with perseverance and effort can change the world. How can we nurture imagination? Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep experimenting. Do not fear mistakes, for it is through trials and failures that we discover new things. Broaden your perspective, read more, experience more, and dare to think differently. Only when people dare to imagine things that have never existed can they create the future they desire. Imagination not only allows us to see the world differently, but also helps us shape the world in the way we want. It is the key to unlocking all possibilities, the bridge between what is known and what is yet to be known. And only when we dare to imagine can we truly take control of our own destiny. Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Logic helps people organize, analyze, and make rational decisions based on available data. But imagination is what opens the door to creativity, leading people to horizons that have never been explored. If we rely solely on logic, we will always follow a predetermined path. But if we combine it with imagination, we can break the boundaries of what is possible, creating things that have never existed. Logic is like a pre-existing road, guiding us to follow established rules. If we want to reach our destination safely, logic is an indispensable tool. But the problem is, if everyone follows that road, no one will discover new paths. Imagination is not constrained by rigid frameworks. It allows people to envision infinite possibilities, thereby creating great changes for the world. Think about the great scientists. If Isaac Newton had only followed pure logical thinking, he might have stopped at observing the falling apple and accepted it as a natural phenomenon. But thanks to imagination, he asked the question, why does the apple fall down instead of flying up? That very question paved the way for the discovery of the law of universal gravitation. Einstein was the same. If he had only relied on existing theories, the theory of relativity would never have been born. It was imagination that helped him envision concepts far beyond what science at the time could prove. Not only in science, but in every field of life, imagination is the source of strength that helps people break through. A businessman cannot succeed if he only relies on old business formulas. He needs imagination to discover new markets and groundbreaking business models. An artist cannot create masterpieces if they only copy what already exists. They need imagination to bring unique works to life. A leader cannot take their organization far if they only cling to traditional thinking. They need vision and creativity to map out a new direction. But imagination does not deny the importance of logic. Without logic, soaring ideas are just unrealistic dreams. A great mind is one that knows how to combine both elements. using logic to build a solid foundation and imagination to go beyond the limits of what is known. A successful person is not someone who just follows an existing path, but someone who knows how to open new ways where no one has ever set foot. So do not just stop at going from A to B. Let imagination guide the way, taking you to places where logic cannot reach. That is how great inventions are born, big ideas are realized, and dreams are turned into reality. We cannot solve today's problems with the same thinking that created them. Every problem in life, whether big or small, stems from a certain way of thinking. When people face a challenge, it is their current mindset that has created that situation. And if they do not change their perspective, they will remain trapped in the cycle of past mistakes. This statement is not just a profound philosophy on problem solving, but also a call for people to constantly renew their thinking to adapt to an ever-changing world. Throughout history, many problems have persisted because people kept applying old solutions without being willing to change. When the Industrial Revolution flourished in the 19th century, environmental pollution began to emerge as a serious issue. But instead of coming up with more sustainable approaches, people continued to exploit resources recklessly, leading to long-term consequences that we are still facing today. Only when scientists and thinkers dared to ask questions and seek new approaches did we find truly effective solutions. In personal life, this principle is just as important. If a person repeatedly fails at work, but maintains the same old way of thinking, they will never find a new path to move forward. An entrepreneur who wants to succeed cannot rely solely on outdated models, but must constantly innovate and adapt to the market. Someone who wants to improve their personal relationships cannot keep repeating the same mistakes while expecting different results. To change reality, we must first change our way of thinking. All of humanity's greatest advancements have come from those who dared to think differently. If people merely accepted what already existed, we would never have electricity, the internet, or great scientific breakthroughs. Scientists like Galileo, Newton, and Einstein did not just absorb old knowledge. They asked new questions, broke through the limits of previous thinking, and opened new horizons. But changing one's mindset is not simply about learning new things. It is also about having the courage to let go of outdated beliefs. Many people cling to familiar paths because they fear change, afraid that what they have long believed might be wrong. However, without facing the truth, people cannot grow. A society can only truly progress when individuals within it are willing to experiment with new ideas, accept failure as part of the learning process, and constantly question what seems obvious. So how can we change our way of thinking? First, develop the habit of asking questions. Do not accept a problem at face value. Try looking at it from different perspectives. Seek out new viewpoints, read more, and learn from fields beyond your own expertise. Most importantly, dare to experiment, dare to fail, and dare to learn from your own mistakes. When we pause and ask ourselves if there is a better way to do something, we are laying the first bricks to transform our lives. This statement is not only scientifically meaningful, but also serves as a guiding principle for anyone who wants to grow. Do not let yourself be limited by outdated thinking. Always ask questions, always seek new solutions, and always be ready to change to become a better version of yourself. Only then can we truly take control of our lives and unlock infinite possibilities for the future. Water is the force that controls everything in nature. Water is one of the fundamental elements of nature, a gentle entity that carries within it immeasurable strength. Water can softly flow through every crevice of rock, can gently embrace everything within it, but it can also become a flood that engulfs all, capable of wearing down towering mountains over centuries. That is why water is not only the source of life, but also a symbol of hidden strength, adaptability, and control. Water does not resist what obstructs its path, but finds a way to weave around obstacles, carving out its own course. This is an essential lesson in life. Flexibility and adaptability are more important than rigid strength. In life, there will be times when we face difficulties, blocked by challenges that seem insurmountable. But instead of confronting them head-on with stiffness, if we learn to be flexible, to make use of circumstances. We will find new ways to move forward. Just like water slipping through massive rocks, continuing its flow no matter how many obstacles lie ahead. Nothing in nature can control water absolutely. Humans can build massive dams, but with just a small crack, water will find its way through and break all limits. This is much like the human spirit. If we have unwavering determination, no difficulty can prevent us from reaching our goals. Challenges may slow us down, but they cannot make us stop entirely. Water teaches us that perseverance and endurance are the keys to overcoming all adversity. Water is also a symbol of transformation and change. It can turn into steam, solidify into ice, or rush down as a mighty waterfall, yet its essence remains unchanged. Similarly, humans undergo upheavals and major life changes. But what matters most is holding on to our core values. Change is inevitable, but if we learn to adapt without losing ourselves, we will always find the right path. Looking back at history, the greatest civilizations all flourished around great rivers. Water not only provides life, but also brings prosperity. However, water can also destroy if not properly controlled. This is another lesson. Power does not lie in its nature, but in how we use it. A talented person who lacks self-control can become destructive, whereas someone who understands their own strength and knows how to wield it at the right time and place can achieve greatness. Water also teaches us patience. A single drop of water falling continuously can carve deep into solid rock, not because it is powerful, but because it is persistent. In life, success does not always come from giant leaps forward. Sometimes, it is the small yet consistent efforts each day that bring about the most profound changes. Successful people are not those who rely on a single moment of brilliance, but those who steadily move forward. Just like the river that never stops flowing toward the vast ocean. Ultimately, water is a symbol of freedom. It is not confined to a fixed shape, but can change to fit its surroundings. When placed in a cup, it takes the shape of the cup. When flowing in a river, it takes the shape of the river. This teaches us that true freedom is not the absence of constraints, but the ability to adapt to any situation while maintaining our essence. A free person is not someone without limitations, but someone who can grow and thrive in any environment. So, what does water want to teach us? It wants us to learn adaptability, perseverance, and the ability to control our own strength. It wants us to understand that no difficulty is insurmountable if we know how to be flexible in finding a way forward. It wants us to remember that life's changes are not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced and utilized. Be like water, always moving, always finding your own path, always maintaining serenity, even in the midst of a storm. And above all, remember that true strength does not lie in rigidity, but in flexibility, perseverance, and the ability to adapt to every change. On the river, the water you touch is the last of what is past and the first of what is to come. And so it is with the present. Time flows like a river that never stops. When we dip our hands into the water, the current keeps moving, and the moment we touch it is the connection between the past and the future. This statement is not merely an observation of nature, but also a profound philosophy about life and time. We often get stuck in the past or worry about the future, forgetting that the only thing we truly have is the present. Living in the present does not mean denying the past or ignoring the future. Rather, it means understanding that each present moment is the intersection of what has been and what is to come. Every action we take now immediately becomes the past, but also opens up a different future. The river of life never stops flowing, and every decision, every thought in this moment can influence the journey ahead. The past is what has already happened. Memories, mistakes, successes, and lessons. We can look back and learn from it, but we cannot change it. If we cling too tightly to the past, we are like someone trying to hold water in their hands, only to watch it slip away. The key is not to grip the past tightly, but to let it flow naturally, as part of the river of life. The future, on the other hand, has not yet arrived. We can plan, we can dream, but we cannot fully control it. Like the flowing water ahead, we do not know what paths it will take or what challenges it will encounter. But what we can do is prepare ourselves, strengthen our minds, and be ready for whatever comes. When we understand that the future is not something to fear, but a natural part of the flow, we will worry less and live more fully in the present. Many people are trapped between the past and the future. They either regret what is past or worry about what is yet to come, forgetting that every passing moment is an opportunity to live. If we do not cherish the present, we will forever chase the shadow of life without ever truly living. The river can only keep flowing when the water is not held back, just as people can only grow when they learn to let go and move forward. Change is inevitable, and just as water never stands still, life is constantly shifting. Some days the water flows gently, and some days the river becomes turbulent. But no matter what, it continues to move forward. Likewise, life has its ups and downs, its challenges, but we cannot stop or turn back. The only thing we can do is learn to adapt and keep going. Many fear change. They want to hold on to what is familiar, to cling to a state of stability. But just like a river, if the water stops flowing, it becomes stagnant. People too, if they do not move forward, learn, or change, will remain stuck in the same place. Instead of fearing change, we should embrace the fact that life is always in motion and that change is a necessary part of growth. Living in the present does not mean being carefree, but understanding that what matters most is what we do right now. We cannot control everything, but we can control our own actions. When we make the most of the present moment, we are building a meaningful past and a solid future. If we live fully today, we will not have regrets tomorrow. The river of life never stops flowing, and each present moment is the intersection of what is past and what is to come. When we understand this, we will no longer be burdened by what cannot be changed or by what is yet to arrive. Instead, we will focus on making the best of what we can do right now, cherishing every moment and living a life without regrets. The world is vast, complex, and full of mysteries yet to be discovered. But the greatest wonder is not the existence of the world itself, but the human mind's ability to understand and decipher the laws that govern it. Without logic and consistency in the way the universe operates, humanity would be lost in the darkness of chaos, unable to develop science, create, or push the boundaries of what is possible. The essence of the world is that it can be understood, and that places a great responsibility on us. We should not stop at merely accepting reality, but must continuously ask questions, seek knowledge, and explore the fundamental laws of existence. It is curiosity and the thirst for learning that have taken humanity from primitive days to flourishing civilizations, from gazing at distant stars to exploring the depths of our own being. As Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the universe to know itself." This means that each individual, by asking questions and seeking answers, contributes to expanding the awareness, not just of themselves, but of all humankind. Every advancement in human history has begun with a question, a spark of curiosity, a desire to reach beyond what is already known. So, do not fear asking questions, and never stop searching for answers. Look at the world through the eyes of an explorer, always ready to step into the unknown with a spirit of learning and discovery. Every hardship, every challenge in life can be understood and overcome if we are patient enough to observe, analyze, and find the right path. When we realize that life is not an endless series of unsolvable mysteries, but a journey of continuous learning, we will no longer fear the unknown, but instead embrace it with excitement and take control of our own destiny.